Have you ever imagined that everything you know can be shaped by the power of your own mind? We will reveal ancient and powerful truths that have been hidden for generations and that, surprisingly, still remain beyond the reach of most. Let's explore the Hermetic principle of mentalism, the basis of how consciousness can create entire realities, and how quantum physics, with the observer effect, finally begins to explain these truths. Get ready to uncover the secrets that the elite don't want you to know. We are not talking about vague ideas, but about techniques and practical knowledge that can transform your life. Stay tuned, because you are about to discover a power that has always been within you. There is an ancient secret, so profound and transformative, that its simple understanding can change the way you perceive life and the world around you. This secret is not a baseless conspiracy theory, but a truth guarded for centuries in esoteric texts and occult traditions. It is the understanding that reality is not something fixed and immutable. It is, in fact, a projection shaped by your own mind. The elites, who control the structures of power and information, have known this for a long time. They benefit from the fact that most people are completely unaware of the true potential of the human mind to create and modify reality. The principle that supports this idea is mentalism, the first of the 7 Hermetic laws described in the Kybalion, an ancient text that synthesizes occult teachings spanning thousands of years. He says, "The all is mind. The universe is mental." In practical terms, this means that everything you experience, from your happiness to your challenges, is born first in your mind. This concept has been amplified by modern discoveries in quantum physics, especially the so-called observer effect, which shows that the observer's simple consciousness can alter the behavior of subatomic particles. So why isn't this widely taught or known? Because a people aware of their power of co-creation is much more difficult to control. If everyone understood that their thoughts and emotions have a direct impact on the reality they experience, power dynamics would radically change. Religions and governments, for centuries, have played roles in restricting access to this knowledge to keep the masses in a condition of dependence, looking for answers and power outside of themselves. But you have the opportunity to break this barrier. With mindful meditation, visualization, and vibrational frequency alignment techniques, you can begin to shape your reality intentionally. It's not a magical process that happens overnight, but it is real and tangible. The power to transform your life comes not from an external force, but from an internal awakening. When you understand this, your perception changes and the control the world has over you begins to dissolve. The path to this transformation lies in recognizing that you hold in your hands what many call the secret of creation, and that, perhaps, is the greatest truth that those in positions of power hope you never discover. The principle of mentalism, one of the pillars of the 7 Hermetic laws described in the Kybalion, reveals a truth that is often overlooked, but has the potential to profoundly transform our understanding of reality. The all is mind. The universe is mental. In other words, the basis of everything that exists is consciousness. This idea may seem abstract at first glance, but when we investigate it with an open mind and critical reasoning, we see how it aligns with contemporary discoveries in science and ancient spiritual traditions. Imagine for a moment that reality is not a linear sequence of events that happen to you, but a dynamic projection of your mind. Think of your life as a blank canvas where your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions act as brushes that paint every detail. This is not some baseless esoteric concept. Quantum physics has corroborated this perspective with the study of the observer effect, which proves that the observer's consciousness alters the behavior of particles. Thus, reality is, in part, a creation of the mind that observes it. But why is this important? Because if you understand this law in an authentic and applied way, you will begin to realize that the power to influence your life is not tied to uncontrollable external factors, but within you. It's not about ignoring circumstances or difficulties, but about understanding that your conscious reaction to experiences shapes your trajectory. If you believe something is impossible, the mind reflects this back, and obstacles seem insurmountable. However, when you align yourself with the idea that consciousness creates the universe, a new world of possibilities opens up. Applying the principle of mentalism means looking carefully at the stories you tell yourself, the truths you embrace, and how these shape your perception and reality. This practice begins with introspection and expands to techniques such as meditation, visualization, and mental reprogramming. Each step is a movement towards becoming the true architect of your existence. And in doing so, you not only transform your life, but you affect the world around you, as your mind is an active and inseparable part of the cosmic fabric. Awakening to this awareness is powerful and challenging. It takes courage to abandon the belief that we are just passive cogs in a random universe and accept that, in many ways, we are co-creators of our experience. The mind is a force that not only interprets, but projects and shapes. It's time to see beyond the obvious and understand. Reality is more malleable than you imagine, and you have the ability to influence it from the deepest point of power there is, your own consciousness. Talking about quantum physics is often facing the threshold between science and philosophy. What seemed impossible a century ago is a reality. The discoveries of quantum physics question the very fabric of our understanding of the universe. Among these transformative concepts, one stands out for its ability to redefine the nature of existence: the observer effect. This idea tells us that, at a subatomic level, the simple presence of an observer changes the behavior of particles. But what does this actually mean? The answer could change the way you see yourself and the world around you. The observer effect is much more than a curious phenomenon. It is an indication that consciousness plays an active role in the formation of reality. In the famous double-slit experiment, particles of light, photons, were fired through two slits in a barrier and, intriguingly, the pattern created on the observation screen varied depending on whether they were observed or not. Without observation, the particles behaved like waves, creating an interference pattern. However, under observation, they began to act like particles, forming a well-defined pattern. The implication here is striking. Reality in its most fundamental form is influenced by the simple awareness of the act of observing. The impact of this is profound, as it breaks the notion that we are just passive spectators of a universe that unfolds independently. Classical physics has always stated that the world works in a deterministic and objective way, but quantum mechanics has introduced a new perspective. The universe is more interactive and less predictable than previously thought. And furthermore, consciousness is not a mere byproduct of matter. She seems to have an active role in bringing out reality. This may seem far from everyday life, but, in essence, it reflects a truth that touches our lives. If, at a subatomic level, consciousness influences matter, what prevents our thoughts and perceptions from doing the same on a larger scale? It's not a matter of claiming that positive thinking magically transforms everything, but rather of recognizing that our perspective has a real impact on how we interact with the world, perceive opportunities, and shape our experiences. These ideas challenge our perception of who we are and what is possible. Science still seeks to fully understand how consciousness interacts with the physical world, but the observer effect gives us a powerful clue. There is a subtle and profound connection between the act of perceiving and the very essence of reality. Maybe it's time we start reflecting not just on what we see, but on how the simple fact of seeing shapes the universe in which we live. This is the truth that transforms everything. The hidden laws of the Kybalion is a phrase that arouses curiosity and even skepticism, but for those who dare to explore its principles, the 7 universal laws offer a powerful and nuanced view of reality. The Kybalion, an esoteric text published in 1908 and attributed to the 3 initiates, summarizes the teachings of Hermeticism, a tradition that dates back to the legendary Hermes Trismegistus, a mythical figure associated with divine knowledge. The laws that this text reveals are not mere philosophical metaphors. They are described as foundations of the functioning of the universe, applicable to both metaphysical and practical aspects of life. The first law, the principle of mentalism, states, "The all is mind. The universe is mental." This idea proposes that everything, from matter to energy, is a manifestation of a universal mind. If you've ever realized that your thoughts directly influence your emotions and attitudes, you've already begun to experience a version of this truth. This law places consciousness as the creator and transformer of reality, prompting a provocative question. What if the universe responded to the way you think and perceive? The principle of correspondence, in turn, is summarized by the famous maxim, as above, so below, as below, so above. It points to the fractal nature of the universe, where patterns repeat on different scales. From the galaxies to the cells of our body, there is a constant reflection between the macro and the micro. It reminds us that the laws that govern the cosmos can also be applied to everyday life, revealing that our personal journey mirrors the larger movements of the universe. The third law, vibration, states that nothing stands still. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Modern physics, with its string theory and quantum concepts, suggests something similar, that all matter is essentially vibrating energy. However, what Kybalion adds is the notion that the highest vibrations tend to be the most powerful and subtle. This idea is fundamental for practices that seek to raise consciousness, showing that thoughts and emotions are not neutral. They have frequencies that affect your life and your surroundings. Polarity, another of the laws, teaches us that everything has its opposite. Light and darkness, heat and cold, love and hate. The difference between the extremes is not absolute, but rather one of degree. Understanding this gives us the power to move from one emotional state to another with greater ease, transforming challenges into opportunities. The law of rhythm reminds us that everything ebbs and flows, in a constant movement of rise and fall. In times of difficulty, recognizing this truth can help you understand that difficult phases are not eternal, but part of a natural cycle. In the same way, cause and effect teaches us that nothing happens by chance, and everything has an origin. By mastering this law, you begin to take responsibility for your life, understanding that your actions and omissions generate consequences. Finally, generation, the seventh law, addresses the idea that everything in the universe has a masculine and feminine principle, and that both are necessary for creation and balance. This is more than a biological illusion. It is a harmony of complementary forces in all aspects of existence. Mastering these universal laws is a process of self-discovery and alignment with the natural order. It is not a matter of manipulating reality with superficial thinking, but of tuning in to the principles that already govern everything around us. When you understand and apply these laws, you begin to realize that you are not at the mercy of chaos, but are a conscious co-participant in the construction of your life and the world around you. Unleashing the latent power of your mind is one of humanity's oldest and most transformative promises. For centuries, philosophers, mystics, and scientists have discussed the untapped capacity that the human mind has to influence reality and reconfigure our life experiences. But what does it mean in practice to access this potential? This is not about superficial positive thinking tricks or ideas, but rather a deep process of self-discovery and conscious reprogramming. Our mind is divided into layers. The conscious part, which we use to reason and make decisions, and the subconscious part, where a vast repository of beliefs, habits, and memories resides that often operate automatically and invisibly. It is in this deeper region that the true power lies. It shapes how we interpret the world, respond to challenges, and create opportunities. The key to unlocking this potential is learning to dialogue with this part of the mind, shaping new beliefs and patterns that are aligned with our goals. One of the most effective ways to do this is through creative visualization and focused meditation. Science has already demonstrated that the brain does not distinguish between something intensely imagined and a real experience. This means we can train the mind to strengthen new neural networks, reprogram emotional responses, and mentally prepare ourselves for future challenges. With constant practice, our mind becomes a powerful ally, enabling us to react more consciously and proactively to life situations. Releasing this power is an ongoing process, which demands discipline and a willingness to explore the depths of one's consciousness. But the benefits are transformative, greater mental clarity, emotional resilience, and a new ability to shape your own reality. Transforming yourself is more than an external change. It is a journey to master your own mind and, in doing so, create a life that fully reflects your highest potential. We live in an era where information is abundant, but truth is scarce. The silent control of collective consciousness is a reality that few realize, and even fewer question. Society, through a complex web of institutions, media, educational systems, corporations, and even religions, exerts a constant influence on the way we think, act, and perceive the world. This control does not manifest itself in an explicit or coercive way. It is subtle, invisible, and precisely orchestrated. Understanding how it operates is the first step to breaking the cycle and regaining autonomy over your own mind. From an early age, we are conditioned to accept certain standards as unquestionable truths. The educational system, for example, often molds our minds to follow rules and memorize information without teaching us to think critically and independently. The media, in turn, plays the role of amplifier, directing our attention to what suits the interests of those who hold power. News, entertainment, and social media are designed to capture our attention, manipulate emotions, and subtly influence our opinions. This manipulation is not a baseless conspiracy theory. It is based on a detailed understanding of how the human brain reacts to stimuli and narratives. Corporations also enter the game, selling not just products but lifestyles and values. They shape what we believe is essential for happiness and success, creating a cycle of consumption driven by desires that are not genuinely born within us, but are planted externally. The result is a population that, without realizing it, internalizes desires, goals, and fears that do not reflect their true nature. To break this cycle of control, a conscious awakening is necessary. This starts with the practice of self-observation, questioning why we believe what we believe, why we react in certain ways to certain events, and, above all, where our ideas and convictions come from. Meditation, critical reading, and searching for diverse sources of knowledge are essential tools in this process. Occasionally disconnecting from social media and practicing periods of introspection can also help recalibrate the mind. Becoming aware of this silent control is more than an act of resistance. It is a movement towards freedom. When you begin to realize what is genuinely yours and what has been implanted, you gain the power to consciously choose how you want to live and what you want to believe. This is true liberation, becoming the author of your own mind and life, rather than a character in a script written by others. The idea of vibrational frequency and correspondence is more than an esoteric concept. It is a key that opens doors to understanding how reality is structured and manifested. Everything in the universe is in constant motion, from subatomic particles to galaxies. The law of vibration, one of the 7 Hermetic laws, teaches us that everything vibrates at specific frequencies, and nothing is truly still. This idea, although ancient, finds support in modern physics, which tells us that matter, when reduced to its most fundamental level, is energy in vibration. But how does this affect you? Vibrational frequency is more than an abstract term. It is a reflection of how we think, feel, and interact with the world. Every thought, emotion, and action has its own frequency. When you are in states of fear, anger, or sadness, your vibration is low. On the other hand, feelings of gratitude, love, and joy raise your frequency. This variation not only influences how you feel, but also the type of experiences you attract. Here comes the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This suggests that external reality is a reflection of what occurs internally. Your vibrations largely determine the people, circumstances, and opportunities that come into your life. We often believe that external events are random and independent of our influence. However, by understanding that the correspondence between our internal vibration and the world around us is a two-way street, we begin to realize that we are co-creators of our reality. It doesn't mean that everything can be controlled, but that our personal resonance affects how we respond and shape our experiences. To raise your frequency, it is crucial to be aware of the quality of the thoughts you feed, the emotions you cultivate, and the actions you take. Practices such as meditation, breathing exercises, being in contact with nature, and surrounding yourself with people who raise your energy are fundamental to this process. When you begin to vibrate at higher levels, opportunities that previously seemed distant become more accessible, and life takes on a new fluidity. The concept of vibrational frequency and correspondence is not about magic, but about a deep understanding of how energy moves and interacts. By aligning your vibration with what you want to attract, you become more aware of your choices and their impact on the universe. This is the secret to not just passively observing life, but actively participating in its creation. The idea that reality responds to your thoughts may sound bold, but it's more grounded than it first appears. Every thought we have is, in essence, a form of energy that resonates at a specific frequency. Over the years, both Hermetic philosophy and modern science have explored how our minds influence the world around us. What you think, consciously or unconsciously, helps shape the circumstances of your life. It's not a question of instant magic, but of understanding how the mind acts as a lens that filters and interprets reality. The human brain plays a central role in this process. It works like a filter that gives meaning to what we experience. If you constantly think about scarcity or failure, your brain is wired to look for evidence that confirms this. This is what psychologists call confirmation bias. On the other hand, solution and growth-oriented thoughts direct your attention to new opportunities and resources. The external world then begins to adjust to your internal expectations in subtle but powerful ways. Shaping reality requires more than merely positive thinking. It takes a conscious and disciplined change in the way you think and react. Meditation, visualization, and affirmations are practices that can help reprogram your subconscious and align your mind with your intentions. Little by little, you notice that life's answers begin to align with what you mentally project. Reality is ultimately a reflection of what you choose to focus on. And the more intentional and conscious you are about what you think and feel, the more in control the way your life unfolds will be. Learning to shape this is recognizing that you are more than a spectator. You are an active participant in creating your experience. Manifesting your desires using the laws of energy is not a simple self-help trick. It is a practice that involves understanding and conscious action. Everything in the universe is energy, and that includes your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Modern physics already recognizes that matter is energy condensed into vibration patterns. What many people still don't fully understand is how to use this knowledge to create tangible changes in their lives. The first rule for manifesting desires with the laws of energy is to have clarity of purpose. Without knowing exactly what you want, the energy you emit is dispersed and does not have a defined focus. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. By visualizing your desires as if they were already reality, you train your mind and body to act in sync with this new vision, creating a resonance that attracts situations and people that help you realize your intentions. But visualization alone is not enough. Your actions and thoughts need to be aligned with what you seek to manifest. If you desire abundance but your thoughts are of fear and scarcity, your vibration will be contradictory. The universe responds to this mixed energy in confusing ways, delaying or making it difficult to achieve your desires. It is also essential to remain aware of your emotions. Emotions like gratitude and joy raise your vibrational frequency, making you more receptive to opportunities that resonate with your desires. Daily meditation practices and affirmations help maintain this elevated, focused, energetic state. Manifesting with the laws of energy is a process of harmonizing mind, body, and spirit with your intentions. It is not passive, requires constant observation and adjustment. The real key is to stay in a state of balance and coherence, allowing the energy you emit to attract what is in tune with it. Ancestral rituals and techniques are more than archaic or superstitious practices. They carry a wisdom that transcends generations, built through observation and deep connection with the universe. Cultures around the world have developed methods to channel energy, strengthen the mind, and find harmony with the environment. What many don't realize is that these ancient practices have a practical and measurable impact on our modern lives and may be just the thing to unlock our dormant potential. Meditation, for example, is not just a contemporary fad. It has roots that go back thousands of years in traditions such as Buddhism and Hinduism. Science confirms that meditation alters brain activity, improves concentration, and reduces stress. But the ancients already knew this instinctively and used the practice not just for tranquility, but to access deep insights and connect with higher planes of consciousness. Guided meditation and conscious breathing techniques, such as pranayama, help center the mind and open pathways to manifesting desires and intentions. Another powerful technique is the use of mantras and chants. In cultures such as India, chanting specific words, such as the sound Om, is considered a way of aligning your frequency with cosmic energy. The vibrational power of these practices is capable of influencing both the individual's energy field and the space around them. Recent studies already demonstrate that the repetition of sounds and words impacts the mind and body, creating a state of coherence that promotes focus and resilience. Rituals with natural elements are also ancient practices that have been used to create changes in life. The use of herbs, incense, and crystals, present in cultures around the world, aims to harmonize the energy of the environment and the practitioner himself. Burning sage, for example, is a tradition of the indigenous peoples of North America to clear negative energies and renew space, something that science corroborates by showing that plant compounds can purify the air and affect the psyche in a positive way. Practices of alignment with the phases of the moon, another ancestral technique, help to synchronize actions with the natural cycles of expansion and introspection. Starting projects during the waxing moon or reserving the new moon for introspection are ways to integrate personal life with universal rhythms, something that brings a sense of purpose and flow. These rituals are not just symbolic. They remind us that we are part of something bigger and that, by respecting and incorporating these traditions, we awaken an inner potential that is often neglected in the rush of modern life. By applying these techniques with intention and authenticity, you will begin to notice a tangible shift in your energy, thinking, and the opportunities that arise in front of you. It's time to reconnect with these ancient practices and use them to transform your life from the inside out. Methods for manipulating reality may seem like a mystical concept, but they are actually based on real, practical principles. The central idea is that our perception and mental state directly influence how we experience the world. For those seeking immediate transformation, understanding how to apply these techniques can make a profound and tangible difference. The first method is mental reprogramming, which involves replacing limiting thought patterns with empowering beliefs. This doesn't happen with simple, positive thinking, but with practices like targeted affirmations and creative visualization. The subconscious mind, which governs most of our actions, responds better to intense images and emotions. By visualizing your goals in vivid detail, you begin to condition your mind to act in accordance with this new reality. Another method is the use of conscious language. The way we talk about ourselves and our circumstances shapes our perceptions and, by extension, our experiences. Phrases like, "I am capable," or "I have the power to transform my life," may seem simple, but they have a powerful cumulative effect when used with intention. The emotional anchoring technique is also essential. It's about associating positive emotions with a specific action or object. When you access this anchor in moments of challenge, it brings back the desired feeling and strengthens your ability to respond. Daily gratitude practices realign your focus to what is positive and possible. Neuroscience has already shown that gratitude activates parts of the brain associated with happiness and satisfaction, increasing the perception of opportunities and reducing reactivity to negative situations. These methods, when applied with discipline and intention, are practical and accessible steps to begin consciously manipulating reality, generating real and immediate changes in your life. Empowering yourself with cosmic forces is not an abstract concept, but a practice that is based on intentional connection between you and the universe. Everything that exists, from micro to macro, is interconnected by subtle frequencies and energies. Aligning with these forces means recognizing that you are not just a passive observer, but an active participant in the flow of life. The key to this is understanding that your personal power grows when you tune into these energies and act in harmony with them. First, it is essential to develop an expanded consciousness. This starts with practices like meditation and conscious breathing, which help quiet the mind and create a space of connection. When you learn to listen to your inner self, you begin to capture intuitions and insights that come from a source beyond logic. Aligning with cosmic forces also involves being in tune with natural cycles, such as the phases of the moon or the changing seasons. These universal rhythms influence our energy and can be used to maximize your potential, from starting new projects on a waxing moon to seeking introspection on a new moon. True empowerment comes when you act in coherence with your deepest values and intentions. By aligning thought, emotion, and action, you create a resonance that attracts people, events, and circumstances that reflect this energy. Recognizing this connection with cosmic forces is a way of remembering that you are part of a greater whole, and that the universe, in many ways, responds to your vibration. The collective shift in consciousness is more than a trend or a passing movement. It is a profound call that echoes across the planet. We are living at an inflection point in history, where individualism gives way to the realization that we are parts of an interconnected whole. Awakening to this change is not just an act of self-discovery, but a commitment to global transformation. It is the understanding that, when we raise our individual consciousness, we contribute to a collective resonance that can change the direction of society. The collective consciousness revolution is driven by several factors: technological advances, environmental and social crises, and a growing desire for meaning and authenticity. More than ever, people seek to transcend superficiality and connect with something greater than themselves. Awakening begins when you question prevailing narratives, realize the interconnectedness between all forms of life, and take responsibility for your actions and thoughts. This is not a comfortable process. Expanding consciousness requires courage to abandon old beliefs and explore new ways of seeing the world. Self-knowledge practices, such as meditation, reflection, and the study of holistic philosophies, help prepare the mind and heart for this change. However, awakening is not just an internal exercise. It manifests itself in actions that positively impact the community, whether through more conscious consumption choices or through engagement in initiatives that promote justice and equity. The true revolution is silent and begins within each person. It is the sum of small individual changes that creates a wave capable of reshaping entire systems. When more people align with this new consciousness, the force of transformation becomes inevitable. Get ready for this revolution, as it not only redefines who we are as individuals, but also what we can achieve together as a species. The art of creating your destiny is a skill that goes beyond simple desire. It requires a focused mindset and full awareness. Many believe that destiny is something immutable, a path predetermined by chance or forces beyond human control. However, the truth is that although certain events are beyond our reach, the way we respond and direct our lives depends on conscious choices. This is where mindset and awareness come in as essential tools to shape your personal trajectory. Mentality is the terrain where destiny begins to be shaped. If you cultivate a fixed mindset, stuck in limiting beliefs, your potential is restricted. But by adopting a growth mindset, which sees challenges as opportunities and failures as part of learning, you open up a vast field of possibilities. This isn't just fleeting motivation. It is a commitment to continuous development and reconfiguration of one's own thoughts. Consciousness is the compass that guides this process. Living consciously means being present, observing your reactions, decisions, and patterns with lucidity. As you develop this ability, you begin to realize the nuances between acting on impulse and acting in accordance with your deepest intentions. This is what differentiates a life led by chance from a life shaped with purpose. Creating your destiny, therefore, requires aligning mind and consciousness. It requires daily practices that cultivate self-awareness, such as meditation and reflection, and the courage to make choices that correspond to your true self. When you master this art, you realize that destiny is not something you wait for. It is something that is built, brick by brick, with every thought, word, and action. The lost wisdom that transforms lives is a forgotten but essential wealth that transcends generations and cultures. At some point in history, practices and knowledge that guided ancient civilizations were devalued or deliberately suppressed. The result is that many of us feel trapped in a system that doesn't seem to resonate with the deeper truth about who we are and human potential. Freeing yourself from modern constraints means reconnecting with this wisdom, which still pulses between the lines of ancestral traditions and spiritual practices. This wisdom is not a secret hidden in some distant temple. It is encoded in philosophies such as Hermeticism, in indigenous traditions, and in the meditative practices of Eastern cultures. These sources teach fundamental principles: that we are more than physical bodies, that the mind plays an active role in creating reality, and that there is a deep interconnection between all beings. These are concepts that modern science is beginning to touch on, but which have already been practiced for millennia. Transformation begins by realizing that many of the limitations we face are actually self-imposed or culturally inculcated. Ideas like, "I'm not enough," or "life is just struggle," are echoed by a society that often values competition over collaboration and collective consciousness. Breaking these chains involves an awakening process, which begins with questioning, which of my beliefs are really mine and which were imposed? Recovering this lost wisdom also involves daily practices: meditation to silence the noise and listen to intuition, gratitude to raise vibration and focus on the positive, and introspection to find answers within oneself. By applying these principles, you realize that life doesn't have to be just survival, but can be a full expression of who you are. This transformation is liberating, because it changes the perspective from victim of circumstances to co-creator of reality itself. It is not an instant or easy process, but it is genuine and deeply rewarding. Life-changing wisdom is within you, waiting to be rediscovered and applied. In doing so, you not only free yourself from the invisible chains that limit you, but you also align yourself with a truth that transcends time. We are capable of more than we imagine, and the path to this realization begins with reclaiming ancestral knowledge and the practice of self-awareness. Ending this journey of reflection with a powerful thought is essential. This is where it is understood that all this wisdom, these ideas and practices are not recent inventions, but are echoes of knowledge transmitted over millennia. Sources such as the Kybalion, the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, shamanic traditions, Eastern philosophies, and even contemporary studies of neuroscience and quantum physics contribute to form a mosaic of profound truths that point to a common point. The human being is more capable, more connected, and more powerful than modern society tends to admit. The source of these ideas is rooted in the combination of ancient wisdom and modern understanding. Hermeticism, for example, with its 7 universal laws, reveals principles such as mentalism and correspondence, which show us how the mind and external reality are intertwined. The meditation and visualization practices, so promoted, are adaptations of rituals that ancient cultures used to achieve elevated states of consciousness and influence their surroundings. Even modern science, by exploring concepts such as the observer effect and the quantum properties of matter, begins to recognize the importance of the mind in shaping reality. But what's the point of knowing all these things without putting them into practice? This is what turns this knowledge into something truly valuable. The final invitation is for you to look beyond the surface of everyday life, delve into self-knowledge, and try these techniques with sincerity and intention. Create space for daily meditation, practice gratitude, question your beliefs, and allow yourself to listen to your intuition. Challenge yourself to see life not as a random succession of events, but as a dance in which you are also the choreographer. Free yourself from limiting ideas that keep your mind in a cycle of repetition and passivity. Remember that true revolutions start from the inside out. When you apply what has been passed down through generations and validated by contemporary science, you realize that the journey of transformation is continuous. You are not just a piece in a cosmic game. You are a co-creator, capable of attuning your energy to the rhythms of the universe and manifesting a life that reflects your most authentic desires. With this renewed awareness, the next step is yours. Put it into practice. Share your experiences and continue exploring the potential that already exists within you. This is the essence of wisdom that transforms lives. Knowledge that becomes action and action that transforms into a new reality.